But to share with you guys some stories from some people that are probably or possibly doing what you want to do. And I do this because, a lot of people have said to me, well, I don't have a business. I don't own a business. I don't run a business. And it's not about that. As you might have learned if you listened earlier, maybe you have this great idea about something you want to do, but you just absolutely are, there's no way that you can get this going. And so what I'm trying to do is share with you some stories about some people that just didn't take no for an answer. Basically, they said, I see this is my path, and this is what I want to do with it. And so today I am so very thrilled to introduce you to a very good friend of mine who has just done some things that most people just wouldn't think that they would ever do. And, she is not afraid to step outside the box, to step around the curb, to jump over that mountain, whatever it happens to be. She's not a superhero. She's just a person with amazing willpower and strength. And this is my friend, Erin Harrigan. And Harrigan. See, this is why live video is so perfect, because we all just do what we do, right? So Erin, tell us about you. Tell us your backstory, who you were, how you got to where you are now, and bring everybody up to speed with this amazing lady that you are that I know.
Sure. So first of all, I would want to say anybody can do this. So when we flub on camera, just know you can do this too. Okay. So I am a follower of Christ. I am a wife of 26 years. I'm a mom of 2 young women, Haley, who is about to be 23 and is an entrepreneur herself. And then Cameron, who is 20 and just rejoined our empty nest from being at school in Philadelphia. She is an aspiring actor. And I was in the corporate world for about 25 years. So grew up in PG County, oldest of 4 to a single mom, and in and out of poverty, and knew that the only way out was to get a job and work hard and make a salary. And so that's what I did. And at the height of my career, I was a primary breadwinner. I had a 70-hour work week. I traveled 70% of the time. I was making big money, but I was desperate for time. And at that time in 2010, so it'll be 10 years in May, a friend of mine introduced me to a network marketing company. And I grabbed onto that with the hope that that would be a plan B that would become a plan A. And in 2012, I was downsized from my job, and my plan B became my plan A. But while I was having great success, 2 things were happening. I was feeling a lot of lack of fulfillment because we were spending more than we were making. And I was trying to fill this hole that I had with the stuff and the house and the car and everything. And then the second thing that happened was I began to be clear through some work with a mentor that I was all about self-reliance. I was all about self-centeredness, and that there was something bigger. And I didn't know. The question she asked me was, or the statement she said was, you have this lack of fulfillment because you don't know who you are and whose you are. So in October 2014, I accepted Christ, and that completely shifted how I looked at business, goal setting, driving and striving, ambition. So fast forward, here we are in 2020. And over the last 4 years, God has been doing an incredible work in my life. And he put it on my heart to write my story. And so I've written that story. And my first book is Pursuing Success God's Way, A Practical Guide to Hustle with Heart. That is publishing in paperback on Tuesday, March 31st. And out of that, Hustle with Heart has become a ministry of sorts. So I do business coaching, really equipping mostly women to build a business that is focused on the Lord and serving others, but still be successful. And I also do some speaking and some mentoring. So I am a serial entrepreneur.
Well, I mean, you guys just got that. There's so many nuggets in there. But the first thing I want to hit on is the super exciting announcement. My gosh. I mean, how many people out there think, I should just write a book because I have something to tell? And they think, I could never do that. It's so involved. So I'm going to jump all over the place because you have so many good pieces, but I'm so excited to share this part of your life right this moment, because I know that this is all encompassing, and I'm super thrilled for you. So tell everybody who's watching, what not exactly what you had to do to get to that point, but maybe just a little bit of the mechanics so people aren't so afraid. Because how many times have you ever heard somebody say, oh my God, I should write a book? Yeah. Well, you should write a book, and why? It's not that daunting. So, and this lady who has just made some huge transformation in the past couple of years was exposed to that. And so give us a little background on that.
Yeah. So first of all, if you feel like, I love what Connie says at the beginning, like there are things that you feel like you want to do, but you're just not sure you can or you should. So everybody has a story, and you have a story to tell, and the world needs your story. And here's why. Because as my friend Brian Dixon says, he's an author, coach, podcaster. I'm going to paraphrase him. I always mess this up. But what is simple or everyday or mundane to you is magic to someone else. Right. And you have insight that other people need. People need to hear your story, because your hindsight can be someone else's foresight. And what you take for granted is just, this is my life and this is what it is. Other people need to hear. So that's number one. Number two, there's so many tools out there to be able, I'm self-publishing. It is my goal to be picked up by a publisher this year. But there's so many tools for self-publishing. So, writing your story can be blogging. Writing your story can be, posting a picture on Instagram and writing a little bit longer. They call that micro blogging, I think. There's so many ways to write and share your story. But one thing I will tell you that has been a huge piece for me is I have a coach. She's not a writing coach, but she is a coach that I work with, that when I said, I have all this content in my head and I don't know what to do with it, she has helped me frame what that will look like. So you don't have to hire a coach. I highly recommend it. But I think it's really important to sit with someone who can help you sort of frame what that story could look like. Just like we used to do in middle school, right? Where we would write an outline. It's as simple as writing the outline of what the content in your head is. And starting with that. It doesn't have to be fancy. Do not be daunted by the books that are on your shelf that are published by major publishing houses. The reason that there are self-publishing tools is because everybody has something to share, and that absolutely can be done. So that's sort of where it all came from. Last year, I launched a podcast. It's called the Hustle with Heart podcast on all of your major podcasting channels. And so a lot of my content really came from that, which all came from, for me, the Holy Spirit. And I transcribed all of that content, and then that became the foundation for my book. Obviously, it took a lot of editing and rewriting. But you may already be journaling. That could be your book. You may already be doing Facebook Lives or podcasts. That could be book content. So don't overlook that you have the content at your fingertips.
I absolutely love this. This is so good. I mean, I'm writing all kinds of notes. As you guys see me looking away, it's not I'm ignoring Erin. I'm like, I can't get this stuff down fast enough because, one of the things that I talk about a lot is, and what I work with people and coach them through after all of my years of business experience is you have so much information in your head that other people need to hear. And I talk about this all the time, but people need to, want to hear what you have to share. And you just think that it's not important, or you think it's just part of the process of what I do. And it's not. It's stuff that people don't understand how to do. And they're anxious for you to share with them. So I just love those nuggets. That what's mundane to you may be magic to someone else. That is phenomenal because it's absolutely a fact. So I love to hear you talk about this. And so what we are going to do at the end when we talk about how people can reach you, we're also going to post how they can get more information and maybe get your book too, because I'm just, I absolutely can't wait to hear that. But so let's backwards up just a teeny bit. So you are a coach, and what do you coach on? Tell us a little bit about that and what the name of your, obviously Hustle with Heart is your logo brand. What does that mean?
Sure. So Hustle with Heart is how I describe what it's like to pursue success God's way. So Hustle with Heart is the action. It's different than the world's hustle. The world would say that you are successful as defined by a title, a salary, an income, your presence, your followers. Pursuing success God's way, or hustling with heart, means how am I serving and how am I allowing my business to be a vehicle for my purpose? A lot of times what we do as entrepreneurs is we tie our identity up in what our business is. Well, I am a healthy living coach. And if I have a good month, then my identity is good. And if I have a bad month, my identity is not. When our identity, from my perspective, is really defined by the Lord. So hustle with heart is the action of building a business that honors God and serves his people. So hustle with heart coaching, my coaching program is helping to equip people to build a business that is centered around God first and then the business. So in other words, taking that great idea that they have and creating a business from that, but also doing a lot of prayer around that and understanding, okay, what is the purpose and how will this make an impact in the world and how will this make an impact for the Lord? I am really big on helping people just get to the brass tacks of what does daily action look like when you hustle with heart? Because what it looks like is I start in the word every day. I have a routine for journaling or prayer time. A lot of people overlook that, and I did, and they think, I just got to go make the calls. Well, you guys, you can make all the calls you want, but if you are not operating in alignment to what your divine assignment is, if you are not operating from the intention of serving, all those calls you make will have no fruition. But that one call you make, if you are operating in that alignment, will cause a ripple effect in your business. So my coaching is really helping people get organized in their action, in their thought. It's bringing prayer into it. It's very scripturally based and equipping them to bring faith and business together, which I think some people think are sort of like church and state.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that. And I believe that when we are doing the work that he's given us to do, he will exponentially multiply that. And that's true. That's my story. I mean, he has multiplied areas of business that I didn't know about 4 years ago. And it doesn't look the way I thought it would, but it has been far bigger than I could have done it myself.
I absolutely love this. And, you know, the one thing I wanted to share with everybody is whether you are, whatever your religious beliefs are, the fact of the matter is Erin has taken something that is so important to her and figured out that importance level is the defining actions for the way she lives and the way she runs her business and the way she produces content and the way that she exudes information and also her personal energy. I mean, we've known each other for several years, but more recently we've really connected. And I can tell you that I'm not sure if we met before the first time we met before she had these changes in her life. But I can honestly tell you that since she has actively engaged in that, she's a totally different person and somebody that just it's infectious that you have to be with her and you have to get that energy. So I just love that no matter where you are on your spectrum in your faith, the principles of this concept are just incredible. And you know, whether you believe in God or whether you don't believe in any of that, the foundation of your person, your being is so important in this conversation. And I just really, I just can't tell you how it makes me feel. It's so interesting because, you know, it just really brings things back around. You know, we talk about business concepts all the time, but at the end of the day, it isn't really about all that. It's about you. And then making that shift from it being about you first. And I just love that whole circle.
Yeah. There's a chapter in my book, and I think it might be challenging for some people, but the title is God First, Me Last. Now, me last is hard for some people to hear because we are a culture and a world of like, take care of yourself, me first. I believe taking care of yourself is taking care of what God gave you, right? But if your business is all about you, you'll have success, but it won't be lasting success. That's correct.
Yeah. I just love this. Absolutely love this. Okay. So let's talk about, you know, I mean, my gosh, there's just so much here and I'm trying to keep us all in the right space. But, we hit some of these different pieces and I think, you know, I keep asking people about this whole superpower concept. And I think we probably know this in your particular case, but I want you to, I would love for you to share with us, like what, I always say to people, some business people go back to their why. And we were talking earlier, when I was talking earlier, I can't remember if it was Suzanne or it might've been Suzanne, and talking about your why. And some people don't connect or understand what that means, but that's why I use the superpower concept. What is it that makes Erin's hair tingle and stand on end? And when something happens in your business, or somebody asks you to do something, or you have some kind of opportunity, what is it that makes your hair just stand on end, or feel like it's on fire, or you just absolutely can't live with your business?
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier when I was watching you interview Stacy. So for me, I think it's two things. It's speaking life into someone else, like helping somebody. For me, I feel like my superpower is seeing someone's greater potential and then connecting the dot to how they can leverage that to serve others. So for me, it's seeing that light bulb moment when somebody connects that and they realize that who God says they are is the only opinion that counts. And now, how do you pull that through in your business? So when I work with a coaching client and they come to me and they say, I realized this about, what God says about me. And then I took that and I went out and I did this action. Like, that just gives me chills, because I know that they're putting faith in action, because faith without works is dead. So that superpower, I feel, for me, is really connecting those two things, their potential with the process of what they can do with that in business. And I think most often people come to me, and you may ask this next, but I think most often people come to me and say, is it possible? Is it really possible to build a business and have faith in the center of it and produce success? And the answer is yes, it's 100% possible. And that's where it should be, because that's when you really get the ultimate success. But the question I ask back to them is, are you willing for it to not look the way you think it should look? Mm-hmm. Because oftentimes it doesn't look the way we think it should look, but it always looks the way that it best serves the world. And I don't mean that in a worldly, I mean best serves people. And I've seen a lot of people have to pivot their businesses right now. And I have seen people do the most amazing things pivoting their businesses right now, because now they have to tap into a creativity and a level of intention and love and service for others to create business that continues to serve in this new virtual business world, if you will. And it's so amazing to see what people are doing. And so all of that, I don't know if that answers your question. I'm a little all over.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, because you're absolutely right. But, first I want to go back to as you talk about things and working a God-centered business, I feel like some people, and you probably experience this a lot, but people who have religious faith, but like you said earlier, the whole church and state thing. And so the thing that I see you do, and that I think that you're working with your customers with, is helping people put those two things together and not worry about the societal separation that is natural, unfortunately, in our society, that people, church is Sunday and the rest of the time we got to hustle and get our job done. And instead you're advocating that is absolutely not how it should be done. And in effect, it should be the other way around.
Yeah, I think one of the things I heard said once, a story about, I don't know, maybe it wasn't just a anecdote, but it was, somebody saying like, I trust God with all my life, but when it comes to my finances, I think I have that under control. And so that was me. Like, well, God's got the rest of my life, but I know what to do in my business. I have a system for success. I know how to run my network marketing business. But it wasn't until I allowed my surrender and allowed him to really take it over that all kinds of other things started happening in my business. And so I think we want control. That's what it is. I mean, there are more entrepreneurs born out of time of crisis, because necessity is the mother of invention. So we're going to see more and more businesses start right now. Why? Because people need additional income streams and people want to have control. And all of that is just normal human stuff. But it's when we let go of that control and surrender it, that all things start to come together. Connections are made and opportunities open up that we could never have opened up ourselves. And when that happens, that is really where success begins and ends, right there. And so absolutely those things need to be together, and you will differentiate yourself in being a servant leader, in allowing your faith to shine through in a way that I had somebody say to me, and this is in my book. She said, you were this person who was like, no disrespect to anybody, but you were like, balls to the wall, I'm going to get it done and I'm going to make it happen. And she said, and that's great. And you had great success, but you were completely unapproachable. Yeah. Like, people didn't feel like they could do business with you. People didn't feel like they could duplicate what you were doing. And she said, but now, like, you have this whole different energy about you. People want to do business with you. And it's not that I don't work hard.
Yeah.
But my work has a very different ripple effect. So I have people coming to want to work with me beyond any activity that I could have done, if that makes sense.
Absolutely so. And there's so much juicy meat in that, in the respect that, as I work with people and I try to help them figure out what their story looks like, figure out the information that they know, one of the things I advocate is that be in yourself, that natural, that online, that being live, because it makes you approachable, right? And so when you're telling that story, the way that most resonates in your particular area and the way that you will live your life, it is the most authentic you. And in your particular case, just massive success, because now, instead of being somebody who's going after that golden nugget, that golden ring, you're still going after that, but you're doing it in a different way, in the respect of, and I think part of this is helping those along the way, that kind of concept as well. And I get that too, being a business owner for a really long time, you're trying, and being in corporate America, you're trying to constantly do this shuffle to keep everybody paid and make sure payroll happens. But when it's just you, you're now like, wow, how can I help other people grow what they're doing, network marketing, in your coaching business, whatever that happens to be. And so that's sort of come around in a full circle as I understand you and explaining it. And that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't look the way I thought. I thought I would be at the top of my network marketing company, 100%, right? There was no doubt, because I don't do anything that I don't get to be number one at, right? And that's where God was like, hold on a second. The thing is that he will shift us. And so my business has shifted, because there are gifts that we all have that, sometimes the first business is just the stepping stone,
right?
It's just where we cut our teeth to move on to what we're really supposed to be doing. And so it does look different, but I have so much joy in what I'm doing now. And I still have my network marketing business, because, like, why would I not?
Right.
So it's been intriguing to see how God uses me in a different way, and how I can help people see that they can be used too.
Can you speak to the network marketing just for a minute? And here's why, because I feel like, unfortunately, people have some weird connotation about that I think is false. And it may be because of the way it's been revealed to us before, but the beauty of having some form of that network marketing or direct sales is, more than one way of doing things is, especially this environment right at this moment is teaching us that is so powerful to have different things going on at one time. Yeah. But if you could just speak to that, and you can talk about what you do, absolutely, I don't care about that, but I think more the big picture and the sphere of it all, and why that's really important to have several things. I'm so
glad you asked that question. I was hoping that you would. So first of all, millionaires have 7 streams of income, right? If you ask Elon Musk, if you ask Warren Buffett, they have multiple streams of income. The challenge with that is that many of those streams involve massive investment. So maybe they have real estate, or maybe they have, the 8th wonder of the world of compound interest, right? But the average person doesn't have the money lying around to take advantage of those things. What network marketing does is 2 things, I believe. Number one is that it allows you to take products or services that you're already a consumer of. Maybe it's skincare, makeup, maybe it's nutrition. My Arbonne business has both of those. Maybe it's legal services, maybe it's financial services, whatever that is. And it allows you to be not just the consumer, but also the store. So it allows you to be your brand and to own the store. So it's brilliant in that I can shop for all of my family's nutrition, skincare, personal care needs from my store. And I can share that store with others and they can purchase, right? So it allows that form of commerce. But the other thing that it does as a business is it allows an everyday person to create an additional stream of income that as people are purchasing through their store, you're getting paid on. And I can show other people how to own and store too. So as a company, my company pays me to shop in my store, but also for other people to shop in my store and also to show other people how to own the store. That money doesn't come out of those people's pockets who are on my team. It comes from the company. So it just takes that retail model and it shifts it, but it allows the everyday person to create as an additional stream of income. And, the average American, especially right now, an extra $500 to $1,000 a month can make a humongous difference in their life. And I believe that in this time, people need additional streams of income because not only is our economy as such that most families really can't survive on a dual income, they need a quadruple income, right? It allows that additional stream, which allows other people to have multiple streams without massive investment. I think it gets a bad rap, just like any industry. There are bad apples in every industry, you guys. But I also think it gets a bad rap because there's so many people who, for lack of a better way, are sort of throwing up their business on everybody, with these like, hey girl messages. But if we just concentrate on serving, whom can we serve with this business that we have? So I am so grateful that I started my business 10 years ago. It provides an additional income stream for me. I built it to a willable business. So like if God forbid something happens to me, my family will continue to get paid on that, which is brilliant. But it really also can be, I would say the third thing is it's an entry point. I have so many people that were in my Arbonne business who are now incredibly successful real estate agents, incredibly successful financial planners, boutique owners, restaurant owners. Like they took that experience, that low risk step into being an entrepreneur and owning a business. They learned everything they could learn and gained confidence. And then they went and started something that is truly their passion. And I think that sometimes we don't celebrate that network marketing is a stepping stone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love this. I mean, I just love, this is the well-roundedness of very spirited entrepreneurs and exuding exactly what I wanted to talk about with all of the people I'm talking about is, that story, that those steps, those things that helped you get from point B to, on top of your mountain, wherever that is. And that gives you the confidence to step around those roadblocks, to step over that curb, to move around that concrete wall. And I just love hearing these stories because these are the kinds of things that are so powerful for everybody who's listening. So I don't want to go too far. We just have so much good information to talk about, and I wish we had a lot more time. But I want to ask you two other quick questions. One, in your coaching business, what is the most common question you're asked? And I think, you guys may have heard me say this before, but this is at the core of what I work with people on, because when your customers ask you questions, those are the things you should be talking about, because those are the things that they need fixed and you can help with. And once you do, that gives you that, that trust that they need in you to make that decision to work with you. So I love to know, what is the number one question you're asked in your particular business?
So in my coaching business, the number one question I get, and most of those I coach are successful women, is, can I be ambitious and still follow God? And the answer is yes. It might look different. But I'm a drive. I am I don't know if you know anybody who does the Enneagram. I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm an achiever. Achievement is very important to me. I'm ambitious. It's just how God wanted to use my ambition was different than what I thought. So yes, you can. And normally I ask them, are you prepared for that to look a little bit different?
Mm-hmm.
So
very important part of that puzzle. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not only that it's going to happen, but you got to make sure that you're aware in that mind space that will be the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Okay. Last question real quick, just to wrap up, because I think this is, this is that funny question but I think it's important because I think it's how we are able to express our abilities of what we do with other people. So your infomercial, if you were stuck in an elevator with 3 people and it didn't move, and they went around the elevator and said, what do you do?
Yeah.
So give it to me in 10 words or less.
Absolutely. So I coach entrepreneurs and equip them to pursue success God's way.
Very well put, very succinct, and we can all understand that. Guys, I hate to have to wrap this up, but, we have a full day of other people we're talking to as well. But, there's so much good juice here. Erin, give us a way to contact you and reach you afterwards, and also tell us how we can get a hold of your book if somebody wants to do that.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Facebook at The Hustle with Heart Coach. You can follow me on Instagram as Erin Harrigan Entrepreneur. You can learn everything about the book at pursuingsuccessgodsway.com. And look, if you follow me, you're going to see a lot about the book because it's publishing next Tuesday. The Kindle version's available right now. So,
oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I'm so thrilled for you. I mean, I just couldn't be, that just gives me chills all in itself. I'm so just very thrilled for you. Somebody who is, just transformed her life and is putting it all together all on her own terms. And, I'm just so thrilled to know you and have you on. And I really appreciate your time today. If you would go back and just maybe put in, since you have a lot of different contacts and we want to make sure the book gets some exposure, just put it in the comments so then everybody can see that as well. And then next week, we're going to be, the links to all these videos are going to be up on my YouTube. And then I'm going to be sending them to all the entrepreneurs so they can post them. So you guys will see these too. And then she can also post stuff in there as well.
Yeah. Erin, thank you for what you're doing. This is so awesome. Appreciate it. I love it. Thank you.
All right, guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay tuned. We still have 2 more to go this afternoon. It's just really rounding out a very busy but very exciting day. Thank you, Erin. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks. You too, Connie.
All righty. Bye-bye.